Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Horror Film Lovers Mainstream Monday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
John Ward.
John Ward, and this is the mid-season finale, and it's
Yes, it is.
gonna be an interesting one. So the movie that we decided to go with because it was James Wan related, I guess, quote unquote. It was produced by him in some capacity. I don't know
Yeah.
how much capacity. I don't have a DVD for it. I watched on Tubi, and honestly, I was I fell asleep twice during this movie.
Wow.
And this is the
And it's
first,
short.
and it's short. And here's how I knew I was gonna hate it from the very beginning is it
Hated.
was an
Wow, that's harsh.
hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah.
And the first 23 minutes, I it took like it felt it like it took an hour and I did not stop it. I did not do anything. It took like felt like it took an hour. I was like, oh, so we're almost done with this. Nope. It's only been 23 minutes of the movie. And
Wow.
I I honestly I'm not yeah. I my I have a lot of problems with this movie, and a big problem is just how boring it is to me. Like it was just not fun. The characters were unlikable. Every single character, even Maria Bello, I usually love in everything she's done. I was just everybody. Frank, they couldn't even make Frank Grillo fun. Like to me, he was just this standard carbon copy detective guy that just was bland and boring. The writing is atrocious.
You
The
didn't like him because he wasn't shaving all the time.
I do like the shaving. Was it what's his name?
Wahlberg.
Donnie Wahlberg. I loved him, but yeah, I like that. Like I like that guy, and I like the detectives in what's the other one? The other big one that Malignant. I like the detectives in Malignant. The detective in this was just I was just like you know, like not even mad. I'm like I'm so fucking annoyed. I'm like I mean most of the time they're talking to the kid and we're trying to get what my biggest problem was, and this is a part of that, is the fact that the movie just relies on the twist, you know? Like the twist at the end. Instead of building a movie to and then having a twist, it kind of has it set up where you're just supposed to get the twist. And to me, that's how I felt. And so you might have different opinions or different feelings on this movie, but I honestly thought it was the worst of every movie we've seen on this, probably on the show. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible. So, yeah, you
Well,
know.
first, I forgot to show this last week. So that's what there's my DVD
Oh, so
for
you got the copy of
Crucifixion.
it? Nice.
Yeah, I forgot to
You,
show that. I had
but do you have
it
a
on the
copy of
shelf behind me.
Demonic too?
I do. And Crucifixion has on it special features: the crucifixion, the director's vision, which is a behind the scenes,
You said
and
that on the last episode, yeah.
trailer gallery. Oh, maybe I did show it. I didn't think I showed it because it was sitting in the
No,
in
I
a
think you
place that
just
it.
I don't think you showed it. I think you
Oh, I just
talked
talked
about
about
it.
it.
You said that you
Yeah,
watched the director's vision, which you thought originally
thought it was like a
was
director's cut. Yeah,
cut, and it was just beyond. I knew when I see that because there's other ones that have director's vision, so I've seen it before like
it's I
that.
think it's kind of misleading, but yeah.
Yeah.
So this is strictly DVD. That's what it says right there. From producer James Wan, director of The Conjuring, which is a little misleading, I think. Demonic. Every house has its secrets. The house did not look like this, by the way, but it is kind of a cool box.
No.
And then this has nothing, not even a
Mm,
trailer,
yeah.
nothing.
Eh,
There is, because it's from Anchor Bay and the Weinstein Company, Dimension.
you know what?
So
It's 2015. It was right when wasn't that right when Harvey was going through his shit? I mean,
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know if this makes a difference. It says here 2013, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
oh,
But
okay.
um, But yeah, it's yeah, Frank Grillo and Maria Bello are the two stars of it. The finale, the final twist is sick fun. That's what it says
I
right
will
there.
say this. The only reason, like, I would normally give this movie like a 1 star or 1.5, but and we'll get to our score and maybe I'll change my mind after we've discussed it. But so far right now, my mind is going on 2 stars only, and the thing that saves it and makes it 2 stars is the last 20 minutes of the movie with the twist and all that stuff. But
But did you find the lead girl like both of the girls in this
oh
are
no, no.
gorgeous?
That's why I have these set
Oh
up. I was
wow.
trying to find one of just Jules. Jules was my favorite. I had a real big the girl that got thrown across the hall or whatever, pull back. Like a James Wan movie. That is the only like
Oh, that the her right there with the blonde hair with the big
the blonde
eyes.
hair girl, yeah.
She
Yeah.
is really cute, but
I know
I
she was
love
my
the
favorite. She was just gorgeous
I
and
love the redhead. I guess that she was kind of redhead. The
yeah.
main girl, the main
The
yeah, the main
the girl
actress.
who was sort of the pregnant girl, that they're
Yeah. And the ending, when we get to it, the ending did confuse me, and this is my second time seeing it, and it still confuses me. So
I'm sure that's
it's
not going to change ever. I'm sure,
no,
I
which is why I
mean,
was hoping there was at least commentary or something on this to explain that ending.
I honestly don't think they gave a shit about this movie. I don't think they gave a shit about it when they were making it.
Wow.
I,
Wow.
like I honestly don't. This movie was, this movie put me to sleep. I started going, and I don't do that
But it didn't
on.
put me to sleep, and this is my second time watching it. I enjoy the film.
Mm.
Plus, it's short.
Plus,
You know,
I don't, maybe it's me, but I hate, and I use hate as that's a strong word, but
it's a
I
very
very
strong.
much dislike and maybe hate, it depends on the movie, movies that sort of give you two sides, two things. So you see the cops and them talking and interviewing him or whatever. Then you see the people inside and everything. And
You don't like
I
that?
no, I hate it. I'm like, tell one story. Tell one
I mean, at
story.
least you like some zombie stuff now, so I give you credit for that. That's for sure.
No, I know, and look, if a movie is done, well, there's certain movies, like there's certain things that like I've told people I don't like things where they're trapped in one like house or one location and stuff. And a lot of indie movies do that because they don't have the budget to go elsewhere, like Purge. But movies like The Purge have a budget and they're able to make the inside fun, right? But there's movies like the first original Witch House, I fucking hated. David Dakota's one. Now the second and the third one I enjoyed, because they went outside the house. But when you're trapped in the house and with unlikable characters who are doing unlikable things and it's just not fun, you know, I don't like it. Movies like Lifeboat by Hitchcock, set all on a lifeboat, fucking brilliant, but it's Hitchcock.
See, I got to
Yeah.
rewatch that because I thought it was boring as hell when I originally saw it, but that was like 20
No,
years ago. So
yeah,
maybe
you
I,
might you
maybe I
might have
need
changed your
to.
mind. If I didn't be well, then again, I was bored by this and you weren't, so I don't know what you'd be
No,
bored by, but
I thought that it moved swiftly. I thought that it I liked that the blonde hair girl with the big eyes that that she makes a comment that the reason why they're staying in the house is because people make fun of them and they and so this is their chance to prove them wrong, that they're looked at as like geeks and nerds and uh
I thought
you
that
know
was
I
okay, but I
I mean,
mean,
I like that. So it's well, do
uh,
we want to get into
didn't do
the
anything.
plot at all?
My biggest problem with that is that like if you show me, don't tell me, and show me stuff of
Well,
like them being picked on, I'll
I don't
care.
think so.
I'll
No, I don't think
care.
so. I don't
I'll
think you need
care.
that.
But that's me personally. I don't like it when people just go, in a script, just go, oh, we're picked on and everything. Dudes, they're
Look,
fucking good looking people. In real life, these people would not be picked on. I don't
but people
believe.
who believe in ghosts that do the ghosts of interest stuff are always made fun of,
Mm,
even if they're good looking or not. They're always made fun of because there are
I,
no such things as ghosts. It's like
people,
Bigfoot hunters. We make fun of you because there was no
yeah,
such thing
but
as
Bigfoot
Bigfoot.
hunters is different. Ghost hunters, because there's this big thing with that culture of like those TV shows and those movies that about ghost hunters. I don't feel like anybody would really be like picked on like that. I don't buy it.
Well,
And
I think when you believe in something that much, and it's not a goof, like the like the guy is going out and trying to find Hitler. They had that show on History Channel, I think, or Discovery for a while, and finding Hitler or something like that. It's like, well, Hitler's dead, so you could spend the next 20 years finding Hitler, and you're not going to.
20 seasons, man, of a guy just going around boring people trying to find Hitler. Because like that to me sounds terrible. Sounds like a terrible idea for a movie. Finding Bigfoot, stupid idea because you're never gonna find Bigfoot. So in real life, unless
Well,
you just put
that's why
some
you
guy
could
in
get
a
20 seasons out of that because Bigfoot doesn't exist.
right.
So you could just keep, yeah. So that's so it's the same thing with the ghost stuff of why these things have like 8 spin-offs and they've been on for 20 years and because they're searching for stuff that doesn't exist. So
I
it's
can't. I
so
just
that's why they get made fun of and stuff. It's
but
because they're
it doesn't matter because I don't see any of this. I just hear all of it and I just don't care. Like I don't care about any of
well
these
that
characters.
you're I mean you don't have to like the movie. I
Yeah.
know why you're mad.
Why?
I know Matt. I know why.
Why?
Because Red Letter Media brought out today another half in the bag.
I did not know that. But now you're making me sad. Oh, thanks. And by the way, that's a joke, everybody, because I've just been getting frustrated with the fact that they have not put out best of worst yet in a while, in like 3 months or something, which is probably when they do it. I just, I'm it's like, I'm itching for one. But I'm not getting to that obsessive thing of like writing to them and say, put out a best of the worst.
Oh, jeez.
You
That
know,
will be
because
out soon
I don't
enough.
care that much. I'm just like, ugh, put, you know, I like whatever. Anyway, no, but this movie, I mean, this movie's just like, ugh, I don't know, like the character. So the guy who played the main guy, what was his name, John, or is that his actor name?
Gotta look
Yeah,
here.
John.
Cast.
So the guy who played John was in an episode, and I actually watched some of it. An episode of Supernatural, called Ghost Facers, where he played a ghost hunter intern, for a group of Ghostbuster type guys that are going around trying to do whatever, and it was supposed to be a pilot, right? Kind of things. I think it literally was supposed to be a spinoff they were trying to do for Supernatural and didn't work. Um, well, there wasn't enough interest, I guess. But the guy who played the main guy, John, the one that is being interviewed and all that stuff, he was so good in that episode. And I was like, he is really good in that. Like, what happened? Because he was terrible in this, like to me. Like every line he said was boring, you know? And that might have been also the writing, but I just I found him to be like a bland character. Like I didn't care about him whatsoever.
Where's Michelle? Where's Michelle? Is Michelle okay?
Is Michelle
Where's
okay?
Michelle?
Where's
We found
Michelle?
8 dead bodies, but is Michelle okay? Where's Michelle? Michelle.
Oh, and the twist. Oh, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it on Tubi because it's free on Tubi. Spoiler alert. He's fucking a ghost the whole time. How the fuck did they put handcuffs on him to begin with? Makes no sense.
Yes, and that's where my confusion comes in the same way that Dead Silence did. That it just doesn't.
Make any sense.
I mean, if we're jumping to the end, he's in the chair. Maria Bello's interviewing him. There's a camera on him, and he keeps talking about Michelle. And one of the other kids is possessed, I guess, and he's running around killing everybody. He's got like the oil type shit or blood or whatever it is coming out of his mouth,
His
and
tongue
he
is
goes
ripped
to
out or whatever,
yeah,
apparently.
yeah, somebody like chewed it out, and then he runs into like a mini mart he's, where the cops gun him down, but he does some weird, like screech into the phone
Yeah.
that
And
that
makes him
affects.
like fly back or whatever, and then
Yeah, and yeah, whatever is it? What is his name? The guy who flies back?
uh
John.
John. Yeah,
So yeah,
John.
so he makes John fly back. Well,
Brian,
what
I
we
think was the other guy's name. Yeah, Brian. They looked so much alike. I was like, are they twins? And are they just playing? Like I thought they looked too much alike, and
well,
I didn't.
I guess the main girl has a type because
Yeah, because
the
that
the
was
the
his
what
ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, and yeah, she has a type, but like he looked just too
they're
similar
all
to that.
named John. Apparently,
What?
they're all named John because he goes, "You're the third John to
Well,
like
yeah, it
since
was
like
like
since we
John and
broke up.
Brian.
You're the third John that she's gone out with."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the cop who's Grillo, and then you have Maria Bello who's like some sort of for like a psychiatrist or something,
Psychologist, something like that.
psychologist probably. Yeah. So then she's talking to John, and of course Frank Grillo, who's the cop, finds they can the video has all been descrambled.
Hmm.
They was all messed up, and then they were able to fix it, and then they see something weird, and Frank
Right.
Grillo goes into the house and down a hallway, and there's this little room where they found Michelle. She's alive, and they go into the back, and there's I think isn't it Michelle that says
Michelle.
back, go back.
Hmm?
I think she says like go back, something like that. Somebody tells them to go back, the cops to go back, the meaning to go back to the closet, and that's where they find John hanging.
Yeah.
And that's when we realize that I guess that he's a ghost and disappears, and the handcuffs fall to the ground, and Rivello's freaking out, and the cop runs back to her, and he's like, what the hell is going on? And she's like, no, he was right here. And he's like, no, we found him, he's dead. And then they look at the camera, and there's nobody there in the chair, and they look at, and it's just Maria Bello talking to an empty chair. And then the girlfriend, the main girl, um Rory, I think is her real name. Oh yeah, well, Michelle. Um, she's pregnant,
Yep.
and then at the end, as she's being wheeled out by everybody, John says that once they cross
The
the
threshold or something,
yeah,
or
like the threshold, which was the giant circle with all the writing in it, so they could do seances and everything on. Once they pass that, the baby is pregnant. I mean, the baby is possessed. That's what I got, is that
I
she's not
didn't get that
possessed,
because I
but well,
didn't
because
understand.
the baby
Mo
did that weird, yeah,
Yeah, like there's a little bit of a thing on his. Yeah, yeah. No,
yeah, like its hand was coming up. So I took it
I
that the
thought I thought it looked like
baby,
a worm was going through it or something.
no, I think it's its hand because it was
Oh,
doing like this type of thing.
it's like waving
And
hello.
I don't know if it was just pressing out or something. And so I took it that maybe the woman who did the original killing possessed the baby, and by going through the threshold or over the threshold, it came free. Like now it's in the baby, and the baby's possessed, and when Michelle gives birth, the baby will now be possessed by the woman who killed everybody in the house.
Your guess is as good as mine, buddy. I
I
mean,
mean,
maybe
for
it says it
people,
in the plot of the
let's
wiki
see
or
here.
something.
Yeah,
Like it.
because for people that don't know really what we're talking about, is there it's you can see it in Jonathan's picture here. It's a group of ghost hunters that's going to a house where there was a mass murder, and it was years earlier. We find out that one of the guys, Michelle's boyfriend, John, who was brought along, is connected to the house. Later, we find out that it was his mother who survived the massacre, and some of the people in the group know it and some people don't. And so they hook up all these cameras, they do all these things, monitors and everything, to get ghost activity. And Brian, I think we said his name was the guy who gets killed in the mini mart. He starts killing everybody, I guess,
Yeah.
and hangs John and does all that stuff. And I guess he
Okay.
tried to escape and flipped his car.
So maybe this will explain it. So this is from the wiki. Brian is later found alive, but runs away from the police, ending up and cornered in a store. John hears the news on the police radio and, in a fit of rage, grabs the radio, shouting at Brian to tell him where Michelle is. Where's Michelle? Tell me where
Where's
Michelle is.
Michelle?
Brian begins to act strangely while John almost goes into a cardiac arrest. Elizabeth screams for Mark to stop, which it doesn't explain that he screeches. Elizabeth screams for Mark to stop Brian before he kills John. Like, how him screeching is gonna kill this guy, but I don't know. Anyway, wherein Mark promptly shoots Brian dead. Mark returns to the house and discovers a secret area where he finds Michelle. As the paramedics are rolling her out on a stretcher, Elizabeth discovers that John killed everybody at the same time that Detective Mark finds John's lifeless body hanging. As it turns out, the John that Elizabeth was interrogating was the demon, who, as he begins to make Elizabeth choke, elaborates on the events that transpired. The seal in the group found in the living room is what bound him to the house. John's mother was supposed to be the vessel of his escape, his possessing John, killing everybody, and that he needs to cross the seal in order to set himself free. The lights begin to turn on and off, and as Mark bursts open the door, he vanishes just as Michelle is wheeled out of the house. The film concludes with Michelle in the ambulance, showing a sinister figure moving in her belly. So,
So that's the demon.
the baby, I guess. I
So
So this was a bait and switch movie. It's called Demonic, which originally the house it was like the House of Horror or something like that. Like it was
yeah, it's I think it says it right here. Yeah, House of Horror, House of Terror. It's down in the
they
yeah,
had
House of
bland
Horror.
titles to begin with. Jesus Christ. Then they went with Demonic, which is a badass sounding title, but it's not really much of a demonic. Like you think demonic, you think of like a normal possession movie, you know? Um, we watched a movie that we did for Indie Film Cafe. Can't say what it is, but it was a movie made in the 90s with a bunch of friends that I think was way better than this movie. And I mean, just everything was more imaginative there. This was just bland, boring, jump scares most of the time. And most of the time, it's us just watching them walk through the house and then, oh my God, somebody shut a door. Oh my God, somebody opened the door. How is this happening? You know, I'm like, I know how it's happening. Somebody's opening the door and then somebody else is shutting the door. You know, like it's just
Jeez,
so,
man.
God, ugh. It frustrates me. I'm like, why did James Wan put his name on this? I've never heard him talk about it, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Ugh. Every
I didn't mind this movie. I liked it. I don't except for the ending, which is just confusing as hell. But otherwise, I enjoyed it.
no, no, just boring. Boring, boring. There's a new Demonic that got made in
Ooh.
2021, by the way, that Neil Blomkamp did.
Yes, I have it right behind me. Yeah,
Oh, for real? Okay, I did not know that.
yeah, it's his pandemic movie.
Oh, sweet. Wait, Pandemic Demon movie?
No, it was made during the pandemic.
Oh. Let me see what good God, there's 991 reviews on Letterboxd.
Well, you looked that up. So the budget for this film was 3 million, and it only made 4.7 million.
Yeah, didn't make
That is
double its
not a
budget, so it
hit.
was a bomb. Um, One person said 1 star. I really wish I could get rid of the started so I'll finish attitude. That's kind of funny. I could get rid of the started so I'll finish attitude. So because he had to finish, I did the same thing. I had to review it. So if this were honestly, if this were just something I'd be flipping through Tubi to look for and didn't have to review, I would have turned it off. about probably about 10 minutes in. It just did not grip me.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, oh Jesus. Um, Dear directors, producers, whoever the fuck, when you advertise your movie as being presented by a respected horror director, the only thing it tells me is that your movie is going to be a pile of shit. Remember when Guillermo del Toro presented Mama? I rest my case. Ouch. I haven't seen Mama actually, so I don't even know if that's that's
So
fair.
look, I liked Mama. Looking at the
Oh,
director, he did a bunch of shorts, and then he did a film called Brotherhood in 2010, and I'm guessing that's what got him demonic. And now he also did a film back in 2021 called Down South. What is Brotherhood? It's like a gang movie.
wow, this Down South movie has no cast or no real information except the plot. So I don't even know if he ever made it. He also has a movie in development called The Children of the Roses, and it's a comedy. Um, yeah, I don't know. This just,
Yeah, I don't
this
know.
just to me. So, interestingly enough, I looked up the trivia for this movie, right? Seeing if I could find some interesting stuff about it. Um, One thing, French director Xavier Gens, our buddy, Xavier Gens. I believe he's the director of he was the director of one of the movies we just did. Maybe not. No, he was the yeah, he was the director of the one we just watched. The Crucifixion. So the Crucifixion director
Oh,
was originally supposed to do this movie.
oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, just say that down there. Yeah, and there he is.
And then um and then another director was supposed to also was up in line to do it before the I guess the writer of this decided to do it himself, or he got allowed to do it himself. F. Javier something. F. Javier Gutierrez, who did like Before the Fall and Rings, the director of Rings. He was
I like
originally
rings.
supposed to be. I think he would have done a better job. I think that was the problem. Is a person who doesn't know how to direct horror direct this movie to me. That's my personal theory on it because I was not scared whatsoever. I was not thrilled whatsoever. The jump scares didn't even make me jump.
Oh,
And that's
Harry.
sad, you know? Like James Wan's producing this movie. Where the fuck was he? Or if he just presented it? No, because he actually
Or
signed on to be a producer, I believe.
I mean, he is listed as one of the producers, unless,
Right.
but for something like Narc, that movie Narc, Tom Cruise is listed, and Paula Wagner are both listed as like producers, but all they did was just put in some funding, some like
Yeah, but
finishing
that's
cash.
usually executive producers. So like Bob and Harvey Weinstein put what is it? Bob and Harvey Weinstein put up money for this film, you know?
Well, yeah, it does say because I was looking for James Wan's company and it didn't pop up, but yeah, Dimensions did, and it just says James Wan.
Right.
So how much did he actually have to do with this? I mean,
Wait. Harvey and Bob aren't listed in the back credits.
there.
Okay. And
I
was
mean, it just
James
it's
James listed as producer?
yeah, Harvey. Both Weinstein's are executive, and then James Wan is producer.
So like if he's a producer, he's usually on set and they're usually more hands-on. than the executive producer. So I'm just really disappointed. This didn't have the feel or the anything of like it just didn't feel James Wan-y, if I can use it like that. Like it didn't feel
James.
like something he would have been proud to say like I produced that. It felt like he would have been like, ugh, my name's on that movie, you know? But if he actually did produce, then sorry, James, but this is one of the ones that you didn't do good with, in my opinion. I don't know. That's my opinion. Yeah, I knew that you might like it. I had a feeling you might like it. I just know for my personal feelings towards this movie, A, it bored me, and that is like the biggest sin of all these movies is boredom. If you weren't bored, that's perfectly fine. I would not watch this again. I would rather claw out my eyeballs than have
Wow.
to do this again. Yeah, this is just not. If somebody said, "Hey, do you want to watch Demonic?" I would say I'd rather watch Barney and Friends. Let's watch that.
Wow, and you like Marvel movies. I mean, that's
Uh, See, that might be the problem. I like Marvel movies. Maybe this just
but they're worse than this.
no,
This at least had good special effects.
really. I thought the special effects were okay. Nothing to write home about.
Well,
I
it
thought
doesn't have a $30 million budget, but
it had a $3 million budget, and we saw a movie where people's bodies were being ripped off, and that didn't have even a $3 million budget. So I don't understand how, you know, like I don't understand how a movie with two, what you said 3 million, right? 3 million and it made 4 million. I mean,
yeah.
that's just sad, you
Well, because
know?
it was probably just released in like a couple theaters to say that it played in theaters. It was probably never intended to play in theaters.
Well, Blumhouse has a rule. Now, this isn't Blumhouse. I'm not saying this is a Blumhouse movie. I'm saying Blumhouse has a rule. If the movie is a movie that not a lot of people probably heard of or directed by people they haven't heard of or whatever, things like that. And this guy we've never heard of before, this movie, the director. Um, and really Maria Bello and Frank Grillo are great actors. They are. But let's be honest, nobody's knocking down their door and saying, I wanna see a Maria Bello movie, Like that's just not, and Frank Grillo is great usually when he's not playing the lead, when I liked him in the Captain America stuff because he was a fun villain, you know. But to go back to Marvel, you know. But I thought in this he was just kind of bland and boring and every cop cliche and I'm like, him coming over and yelling at him or whatever. I was like, okay, I've seen this in Law and Order a million times. Can we like do something original with cops? Like I said, Malignant had great cops. The cops in the other one, um, you know what I'm talking. The cop, the shaving cop
Oh, Dead
in
Silence.
Dead Silence, fucking fantastic. Like they had character traits. They were interesting. This had nothing. Like I would definitely watch Dead Silence, and that ending was just as bad as this ending, if not even maybe a worse because it was so fucking out of the box stupid, made no sense whatsoever. This tried to make sense, but it still didn't make any sense, you know, like you could tell they tried, you know, so I don't know. It's a movie I was shocked that I thought I was gonna from the title and whatnot, I thought I was gonna like it. But
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to nod and agree.
good. At least you can read. Um, yeah, I love wearing these kind of shirts because, sometimes I really feel like just doing that. I'm just like, yep, I agree. you know.
I don't know, man. I did not mind this at all, except for the ending. I liked the directing. I thought the writing was fine. I thought that the actors were fine. I thought the editing was fine. It's obviously not gonna, set the world on fire, but I think it was probably my theory would be a friend of James Wan, and they gave him X amount of budget and said, "Go make your Conjuring movie." And it
Yeah,
just went straight to video or now straight to streaming.
he tried. He tried to maybe Juan was a big fan of the Brotherhood and wore his shorts or something, liked his shorts. Said this guy, and then the guy sent him a script. Or generally speaking, what happens is, uh, so a the way I understand it, because it's never happened to me, obviously, yet or anything, but you put a short or a feature film in film festivals, people see it, they become you get an agent or a manager. Your agent or manager sends your scripts out to different companies, and somebody like in the case of Scream, it got in the hands of well, it got in the hands of Wes Craven, who turned it down originally. Later, he decided to take it on when his assistant, Julie Plec, you know,
Well, but there
um,
were a lot of people before that.
yeah, there was a
There
lot of people.
were
There's a bidding wars. There
script
was a
reader
bidding
after
war.
script. Yeah, but you're making it sound very easy. It's there's the even in the documentaries they talk to the person who found it,
Right,
and it's like a woman who works for dementia.
right. Well, I know. What I'm saying is like it's not easy, right? But what it is your agent sends out the scripts, and then a company will buy it generally from you, right? Then you can work out a deal, with that stuff. Like, oh, I want to direct, or if three people turn it down, can I direct it? Kind of thing, which I think is mainly the case, is like didn't work out with different people. So they just let the writer direct, the original writer, which was probably the director guy because he's listed as one of the writers of it, you know? So, I mean, and then he gets to make this movie, but the problem is he's never directed like a horror movie before. And to me, he didn't do a good job. Like to me, I didn't like it, and apparently I'm not the only one, but also there were people who did like it. So I think it's
Well, I
50-50.
think that you were going to read more Letterbox, right? And I cut you off. So sorry. So what are some of the other ones?
I mean, let me give you a good one. Ooh, it's hard to find one. Here's a meh one. Let me say this. I didn't hate it. Sure, there were
Okay.
things I wasn't a fan of. The weird, is it found footage or is it not mix? Pick a lane, which I kind of agree with. It had the found footage style, you know,
No,
mixed in
I
with the
disagree with
regular
that.
stuff, right?
I disagree with that. Just because a camera floats around doesn't mean that it's found footage. You're just seeing the point of view of the camera.
No, it's found footage when they find the footage and and you see what the footage is. That's found footage.
Well, I'm
That's
going off of what they're actually doing in the house, but I no,
But they
this is
did
not.
find the footage in the house of the stuff. They had the I guess they froze the hard drives. I didn't even know you could do that. But apparently they froze hard drives to find and I didn't even know like what hard drives, like what, like all of that stuff made no sense to me because
Well, I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
I know, but I'm saying why did they have hard drives backed up of the footage? They're only in there for like, I don't know, an hour or something, and they died supposedly. So they wouldn't have had time to back up anything into a hard drive.
I think you're digging for stuff now.
I'm not. I'm thinking of things that just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think, that didn't make any sense. Like they're trying to make things make sense, and it didn't to me. But anyway, Um, okay. Pick a lane. The whole people think we're crazy, so let's find proof mentality. If a ghost dragged me across the room, then fuck it. Let them say I'm crazy. I'll find a different house with nicer ghosts. That's what this is what somebody's saying. The whole been there and done that of the plot plus a lot of lack of backstory filling. However, it had potential. I like the characters, which wish they had been given more chance to flaunt their personality, but I blame that on a mixed footage from. I kind of agree with that too. My big thing was if they just concentrated on the kids, it might have been more interesting. The problem is then you get into like boring cliche territory, Night of the Demons, you know, possession in a house or a Ouija seance shit, you know. But so the only reason I think they added the element of the cops and the backstory and all that was so to be a little bit different than the normal cliche, you know, thing there. I don't know. I honestly thought it was just bland and boring. Not my cup of tea. And no, not my cup of anything.
Okay. There you
Sorry.
go. There you go. All right.
I wanted to like it. I did. And I went in originally thinking, okay, this is gonna be fun. The poster looks great. The title is fantastic. Ooh, it's gonna be another crucifixion, which I was pleasantly surprised about. And then this was, yeah, no, just didn't do it for me.
Okay. You don't have to like everything.
Well,
Maybe we're on James Wan overload or something. So,
no, I mean, literally, just because I watched all the films, 20 of them or whatever, doesn't mean like there was bound to be one I didn't like. And even Dead Silence, I got stuff out of it that I enjoyed. Sadly, I couldn't, I don't know, I tried, you know.
okay. You don't have to like it. It's okay.
I
It's
feel
okay.
like I feel like a jackass, you know.
Why?
I don't know, because
If you don't like something, you don't like
I
something.
generally like everything. I generally try to. I don't know. Try to see the good and
It's okay not to like something.
try to see the good and shit, but I just couldn't, you know. All right. So, all right, we said the budget, you
Yeah.
know, and we said, yeah, this is a short. I thought this was going to be a short review, a shorter review than we normally have been going on. Um,
It's not an hour yet.
I know. Um, so my other thing was let's do your rating. What's your rating? I'm still giving it two stars,
Uh, I'll do three.
three.
Yeah.
See, but like, yeah, I mean, I guess,
Maybe
yeah,
three and a half, 3.5, but I think it's more towards a three than a point five.
3.5. Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's go with a three.
Yeah,
Um,
my big issue is the ending. I just find that to be I think that they're probably did we really need all this stuff with Michelle missing and all that stuff? Maybe she's the one who's being interviewed and she's pregnant and the baby is possessed and it's kicking and they throw her on the gurney and Maria Bello reads in a book if blah 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 passes the seal it will be set free and she's like no and then it goes right over the seal.
I don't know, because I don't even remember seeing her go over the seal at all. I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
she's on the gurney and they're just wheeling her over, on the floor.
Uh, didn't I
And they
didn't
take it over that seance thing.
okay. Yeah. The thing where so they show the seal, right? Originally on the rug, they pull the rug out from under everybody and including the audience. Um and they take the rug out and you see the whole thing and the first thing Jules says is don't don't go over it. Don't go in it. And I'm like thinking, how the fuck does she know that? Like, is that a thing? That
Well,
everybody knows?
well, probably not everybody knows, but she knows it. I mean, that's like her. Yeah, that's her thing.
But I would have been like, why? Like what's gonna happen if I go? Like, I would have asked questions, like it.
But then they're talking. Then they're telling you, and you said you didn't like that.
Well, I'd rather that than not tell me a goddamn thing and not show me anything. Like, you show
Well,
me
I
a,
mean,
a
I think
seal,
that we've
that's it.
seen enough of these movies to know what would happen.
What would happen? Somebody would get possessed
Somebody would get possessed. It could
or
like
not be
knock out
able to leave the
lights or
thing or something.
electricity or something. I mean, my biggest question still is Ghostbusters don't cross the streams. Nothing happened when they did. Why was that
That's
such a big
true.
deal?
Life didn't
The
stop
world did,
instantaneously like they said they would.
yeah.
Um,
And they had two other movies to explain why, and they never did.
I love how you said three. I mean two.
Oh, we all
They
know
never did. Yeah,
2016
you're
doesn't
right. They
count.
never. They never. They should have explained it in the newest one because they were really going back to the original.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. Yeah, Paul Rudd's messing around with one and crosses the stream with the little girl, and something bad happens, like
no, because they said
blows
like
up half the town or
he
something.
said like Harold Ramis said, remember all life like instantly ends or something, or whatever if you cross
Well,
this.
he could be dramatic.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
he
he could
was
just be,
dramatic. But anyway, the point was, I get what you're saying, but I just,
and that's
I
a
don't know.
classic movie.
That is a classic movie, and so there are movies that do that. But I wish I something, but
You
it's
you
okay.
you can just not like something. I mean,
No, I'm saying
I
I wish I knew what that meant. Like, I might have to look that up. You're not allowed to go into a seal. You know, get possessed. You know.
well, maybe you got to set the candles all up, and you got to do all that type of stuff, and
That's what I'm saying. Like, she didn't need to say, "Don't go in it." Like, God damn, girl, calm down.
well, maybe something got cut. The film
Hmm.
is short.
I know there might have been a lot of stuff that got cut.
They might have cut out all the plot.
The Weinsteins were very like snippy,
They
with
cut out
things.
10 minutes. That's their thing. 10 minutes. That's what the guy
Yeah.
said to Kevin Smith with Clerks. He goes, when we're done here, already know what 10 minutes are going to go, and that's when he cut that whole segment out with the camera up on top and all that. That's in Clerks 10.
The what? What
Huh?
part got cut out?
Where they have like the camera, like the hand camera, and they put it up in the ceiling and it's looking down.
Oh yeah.
There's that whole 10 minutes in that area that was cut, and then he put it back in, or he didn't put it
Well,
back
he
in,
put it
but he
back in the
he released
Sundance
it.
cut or whatever. Like when they,
Yeah, that Clerks 10, the
yeah.
anniversary, so we can see what that was, which then kind of
Then
went over into Zach and Mary because they kind of did the same thing with the cameras. So it's like,
I'm not surprised then. Yeah. Um, Kevin was probably like, I'll put that in somewhere else. You know.
yeah, So that I mean, who knows? I mean, the film's way too short. They probably cut out all the plot and said just leave in the action, which you did not find to be actiony. You found it to be
You seen the movie Howard's
boringly.
End, right?
No.
Okay. Well, in that movie, it's what are they called? God, the people who made it. Ivory,
Oh, Merchant and
Merchant
Ivory.
Ivory,
Yeah.
Merchant Ivory movie. Paul loves that movie, by the way. And I remember as a kid, my parents were watching it.
What a pretentious fuck.
Don't ask me, whatever. I've told him I hated this movie when I was a
Hi,
kid
Paul.
and everything. But so anyway, when I started watching the movie, I'm like a kid going, there's just nothing but people talking. Like just and I'm okay with some dialogue. If it's interesting dialogue like Kevin Smith, I'm down with it. Quentin Tarantino could probably make a whole play and I'd be interested in seeing it because he's really good at dialogue. The dialogue in this movie was oh my God, my ex-boyfriend is coming here, blah, 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 blah. Like that's all
It's
it was
white
was
people
whiny
drama,
people. It was
white people
melodrama that was
problems.
boring. I don't like it was stuff that you see in every other horror film. Oh my God, my ex-boyfriend is on this trip. Oh no,
So
you didn't tell me
this
your
is
ex-boyfriend.
your Bloody Night? Is that it? Bloody Night?
Bloody Night?
What's the one with the killer salmon? The one that I don't like.
Not Silent Night.
No. The one with the guy from Stranger Things. You know the
Oh,
film I'm talking about with John Leguizamo,
Violent Night.
huh?
Violent Night.
Okay, Violent Night. So this is your Violent Night.
I guess.
It's you've seen it 100 times. It's nothing new. It's kind of boring.
I don't
And
know.
that's what I thought
I
with
don't
Violent
believe
Night.
Violent Night you've seen a thousand times. But anyway, this
Thousand
movie.
times.
No, I
Yeah,
thought it was.
I could name movies from the when it first started. I was in the first 5 minutes going, "Oh, that's that movie. That's this movie. Oh, look, they stole from that movie." And I got really bored with it. Plus, I don't like John Leguizamo, so I find him very unpleasant. So,
Anyway, I don't
and now
know.
he's a
I
friggin'
don't know. I
floof.
was I was at
Weirdo.
least that shit was fun to me. That was way more
Fun,
fun than this movie.
not to me.
This movie
I would
was.
rather watch Demonic again than Violent Night.
I'd definitely rather watch Violent Night 100 times before I'd watch this movie again. This movie was just trash to me. It was,
You're
and
trash.
I am, but at least I admit it. This movie tries to pretend to be something it's not, which is it pretends to be a good movie, good horror film, and I didn't find it horrifying. I didn't find like it's hard because I'm not really scared by
Are there
any
any
movies
reviews?
anymore. You know,
It has a review. It says that the final twist is sick fun.
you said that
It
before.
says,
You're
yeah, it
repeating
says it right
yourself
there.
now.
It says it right here. I'm just reiterating that it says it right here, and you were wrong.
But
If it
who said
says
that?
it
Who
on the
said that? Who
box,
said it?
it
Who
says
said
it on
it?
the box, it
Who
must be real.
who said it?
Somebody from the Guardian.
Let me. Okay, we're gonna. I'm gonna do something I've never done before, which is I'm gonna look up the review on the back, the actual review on
I
the
just showed it
back
to you.
of it, of the thing.
Now, Crucifixion has no reviews, none.
Here is here's the actual review. I wonder if it even says sick fun. Fashioned out of well-worn, if not hackneyed horror tropes, Demonic is no meta-level destruction of the genre, but it's a more than competent fugue-like manipulation that freshens familiar components with a tricky structure. This is literally from The Guardian, right? So here, once again, is a collection of stupidly curious kids investigating a haunted house where mass murder happened a generation earlier. Naturally, they are equipped with massive arsenal of night vision cameras and recording devices to produce spooky found footage and audio. What's a little different is this story gets told in flashback. The grisly fate of most of the victims already known, as two investigators, Frank Grillo's detective, Maria Bellows' psychologist, examine the evidence and grill Dustin Milligan's survivor. It's smart enough work to make one wish it were a bit better, with less cheesy dialogue, sharper characterization, and scary bits that didn't rely on jump cuts and sudden percussive audio shocks. But the final twist is sick fun. Come on, that
There you go.
is that is all they took out of all of that negative review where the person is literally saying this is not good. Um, but the final twist is sick fun. They're like, at least
Well, have you ever read the review for The Howling 2?
no.
On the box, it says, quotes, if you only see one werewolf film, dot, dot, dot. But if you look at the actual review, it's if you only see one werewolf film this year, do not see this one. And then it went on to just destroy the movie. But all they took was, if you only see one werewolf film, dot, dot, dot. And that actually brought up a suit that stated, like, you can't do that. That's not, you can't like represent like a review like that. You can't, if it says it's garbage, you can't take like, the person like acting and then put that as the review.
Right.
So
And
I'm
I mean,
surprised that they did it with this, because Howling 2 was a long time ago. There's
well,
actually a law against
but
that.
in fairness, they did say it. He literally, the person said it. So it
Well,
is,
so did the person with the Howling 2.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But they didn't say. I guess technically they did then, because they didn't actually say if you're gonna see one werewolf film, see the Howling too, right? As the quote, right? They just said dot dot dot, right?
Yeah.
And stuff. So they didn't misrepresent anything. The little person literally said that. I would argue that in court if if they tried to sue, I'd be like, that's not misrepresenting anything. You literally said that. We're not having you say something different than what you said. Just the same as this. The person said, but it's sick fun. The final ending, the final whatever the ending is, the final twist is sick fun. Yeah. So all they took
The
was the
Saw
twist.
ending.
The instead of putting but the, it just says the final twist. So they didn't. You know, they just changed the thing so it sounded like it was more the person saying the final twist is sick fun. But like I said, it was a terrible review because the movie is terrible. This thing just the Guardian agreed with me. But he did like the characters, which I didn't even like the characters.
Well,
I was
write your
just
own
bored.
letterbox review.
I'm going to, and everything. But I don't I use Letterbox and I don't write like long ass reviews, you know. Um Occasionally if I really like something, maybe I'll say a little longer. But when I'm doing a movie, I don't say like this sucked, you know. I do sort of back things up a little bit, but I just say that like it wasn't my cup of tea or whatever, but this is why, sort of thing. And I'll do something like that. Just the characters and that story, the writing to me is the worst. It's just to me it was one dimensional and boring and just not my cup of tea once
Look at
again.
Mr. Fancy Pants over there. He reads a screenwriting book and now he's a screenwriter. Look at Mr. Fancy Pants.
Hey, look, I read many ones. I just got one today.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Gonna show you one, but yeah,
I have
no,
read screenwriting books. I know what they're like.
no, I found a different thing about like treatments, you know, or whatever, which is interesting because I like exploring that stuff, and I like and as a writer, I like stories that I can really sink my teeth into. Go back to Howling, things that I just really enjoy. Just this movie, I don't know, it just didn't have it for me. It was, and I'm allowed to not like
Maybe you
something,
should
but
watch it again. Maybe you were just not in a good mood. Maybe you should have to watch it
no,
again.
I was in a great mood.
I doubt
The
it.
movie made me
Did
be in a bad mood.
I doubt it because you didn't like it. So you were probably in a bad mood and you should rewatch it.
Just because I didn't like a movie makes me already be in a bad mood before I watch it. That makes no
Yeah.
sense.
No, you were probably already in a bad mood when you watched it. So
That's what I'm
that's why you
saying.
didn't like it. Yeah.
How does that
So
work?
that's why you should watch it again to test it. That's how you do tests. That's how you prove things. So now you have to
No,
watch it a second time to
because
see
I
if it
don't
does the
want
same
to watch
thing.
it a second time.
Invalid.
I reject your hypothesis, sir.
Oh, how dare you use that?
I was telling my niece about Tarantino today.
I'm gonna Okay, I'm gonna use the other one I have on you, which is from Dungeon Master, which has been used on that what's that show where they try to Mythbusters. It was used on
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. So this is let me see here. What does he
I
say?
don't know what you. I don't.
Here it is. So this is from, it's the same idea. It's from the Dungeon Master, but the guy from Mythbusters used to say it all the time on the show because he's a fan of the movie. It says, "I reject your reality and substitute my own." That's what he says in the movie.
Hmm. All
So
right.
if you're going to use my Tarantino line, then I'm going to use their Dungeon Master line.
That's too long for me to care about, like remembering. I reject your hypothesis is like long enough.
That I still think it's brilliant, and I love that I found it with the writing with Tarantino from Cannes Film Festival. I think it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood discussion with what's her name? With Margot Robbie and cast and crew and the ladies saying, stuff about how Margot doesn't fucking talk in the movie much, or doesn't have much lines. Didn't make her less of a character. Like I agree with his right. I reject your
Well, because
hypothesis.
she was trying to do a gotcha. She was trying to do one of those things where, oh, you're a man and you didn't
Right.
give a woman a lot of lines.
And
And
then
and and that's what he says, I reject your hypothesis, and
yeah,
then
and
just
then she
destroys
was
her.
like she goes to Margot Robbie and Margot Robbie is just like, I agree, like it's or with Tarantino, like it I think I did it, I think he made a great character for me and it didn't matter how many lines I had, you know? And I was watching, was it did you see the Channel 4 Tarantino stuff?
You
Like
know,
Tarantino telling that guy, I'm gonna shut your butt down, you
oh, you're
know?
talking about the interviews.
Yeah, the interview where
Yeah.
he was being interviewed by Channel 4 News or whatever, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
That guy's notorious for doing stuff like that. He
yeah,
tries to do those type of
Robert Downey
interviews, and
Jr. left, and a bunch of
yeah,
other
because he
people
because he
just,
brought up drugs and
yeah, stuff that has nothing to do with like Avengers or whatever they're promoting, and both times it seems almost fake though, because there's at one point Tarantino and Robert Downey Jr. And I only noticed this watching them back to back, but both of them do the same thing where they both say, aren't we supposed to be promoting this movie? They both say that. And
well,
so I'm
that's what
like,
I would
wait,
probably say. I don't think that it's fake. I think that that's he's the interviewer is notorious for that, and he and of course with press junkets they're probably on like their 15th interview,
right.
and have like 10 more to go or something. So it's just like, okay, are we done here? Are we promoting the movie, or are we just can I just leave?
My other favorite line that made me and my niece laugh because I showed her to her was where Tarantino's like talking. The guy brings up, well, Jamie Foxx said this line, and he goes, maybe you should talk to Jamie Foxx then. And I know he's here, so you can go talk to him about that because I'm not getting, I'm not talking to you about this. If you want to do a real interview, ask me stuff about the movie, not about, you know, and stuff. And I absolutely
I
100%
I
agree.
agree. I agree with Tarantino most of the time, but then there are some times where he's a little full of himself. Like when an interviewer did bring up like, why do you use the N word so much? And I think it was for the Western that he did. I'm blanking on
Django
the name.
or
Django, yeah,
Hateful, yeah.
Django. And he goes on this whole thing about it's brought up a whole new conversation and everybody's talking about it. And because of me, and it's just like, dude, nobody's talking about it. Nobody. Like
I wasn't talking about it.
I didn't hear anything about it except for some critics and idiots going, why does he use this so much?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
if Samuel L. Jackson gives him the okay, he can. So
Yeah, there was, you know what? There was a controversy, and this, I guess we'll wrap this up in a second, but there's controversy with the new Guardians of the Galaxy, with the fact that apparently, and I haven't seen it yet, so I surprisingly I haven't seen it yet, but so supposedly what's his name, Star-Lord says like a curse word like the F word or drops like the F bomb or something, some kind of like bad word or whatever, and supposedly Samuel Jackson was told Kevin Feige, if you if there's anybody who's going to be able to drop the F bomb in a PG-13 movie, it's got to be me. You know,
I would agree with that.
right. And because if you're gonna make an F bomb, it better be. Samuel L. Jackson saying motherfucker, you know, like once, in a PG-13 movie, because you can get away with it once. After that, I think it's R, all of a sudden R, um, or maybe it's still R. I don't know. But I think that's what happened. So there's a lot of people saying that James did it on his own or something. He the he went behind Kevin Feige's back and put it in there. And what? No. The producer oversees everything. And if he didn't want it in there, he would have taken it out, or whatever, regardless of how much it meant to the character, to whatever. So
Yeah,
I
I don't know. I'll never watch it. People seem to like it, but it actually made less money than Thor: Love and Thunder. So they're already predicting that this thing is going to be like a horrible bomb, even though people like it.
Yeah. Which is funny because like everybody liked it. Everybody's been saying really good things. And sadly yeah, it's probably gonna bomb and um, you know, comic book movies aren't dead, but they're dying, you know.
They're dead.
They're not dead. They're
Yeah,
dying.
phase four proved that they're dead. Just stop. Just stop for like 5 years and then start it up again. So
Well,
because we know the Avengers movies are going to suck because they're all going to be the female versions of the characters that we like.
sort of, yeah, there's be more females involved, except for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and
Oh,
what if
they'll get a female Spider-Man in there. They'll get Spider-Woman in there somehow, and they'll
Spider-Gwen is supposed to be coming.
Oh
So
God,
yeah.
I can't watch this stuff anymore.
But
I
those
just
are in the comics already, so they're just bringing them into the whatever. So,
for all the wrong reasons. So that's
uh, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when they, I don't know. I'm not going to talk politically about this because I just
Disney
don't
has
really.
destroyed everything good.
Yeah.
It's destroyed
Well,
everything good,
and then DC's going to come out their brand new stuff or whatever, and
which is
already,
also going to suck. And then they're going
yeah,
to reboot that again.
yeah, that's gonna have to be that's gonna be rebooted with the new Superman and all that stuff,
I
and
mean,
maybe
we'll see where like HBO Max or Max is at that point.
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
Max is
if I'm subscribed, sure. I mean, I'll watch the next, Shazam 2 because I'm I'm already subscribed, so why not?
wait, is Shazam 2 already out or no?
No, it comes out I think it's by like the end of the month,
Okay,
like the
I'll
23rd or
watch it
something like
because I
that.
didn't see it in the theater, and apparently I wasn't the only one who didn't see it in the theater and
Most people didn't, yeah.
did not do
Mm-mm.
well, and a lot of people are blaming the Flash and James Gunn for announcing that he was just going to he was
Well,
killing.
yeah. They're pissed off at him because they said that they should have waited for that
Yeah,
after
a
these
big
movies were
announcement
released.
of like, oh, by the way, everything that we are doing up to whatever doesn't matter because, after the Flash, everything's being reset. And then, so I'm like, wait, what does that mean about Aquaman? To go back to James Wan's doing the new Aquaman that is bombing really badly or whatever in the test screenings and stuff. But like, what does that mean
It doesn't
for
mean anything. It doesn't count.
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, so it means like the movie that we're gonna watch, it doesn't matter. But then again, that just means it's a movie. You can still go watch a movie. You don't have to have it connect to stuff, you know. Most movies don't
I mean,
have a
I mean, if
cinematic
you did
universe.
if you did something like the Batman stuff originally, like you had the two Tim Burton, then you got the two Joel Schumacher. The two
Right,
Joel Schumachers were connected
right.
to the originals, but not fully. Like you could watch Tim Burton stuff and be fine, and then you could watch Joel Schumacher stuff and be
The only
fine.
connection
But
was
there
Alfred, right?
is
Alfred was the only one who stayed,
well, Alfred and they bring up stuff. I mean, they
which
are
makes no sense when the
connected in a
different
way.
actors playing Bruce slash Batman. It didn't, to me, it didn't make
Yeah,
like it's weird.
it's still the
It's
same
like
person.
what? It's still
It's
the
still the
same
same
character, I
person.
guess,
Yeah.
but played by somebody completely different with a different
Right.
like feeling to him. Like Michael Keaton, like Val Kilmer is no Michael Keaton. I like Michael Keaton way more than I like Val Kilmer, you know? I love Val Kilmer, but in a different way. Like, like I didn't, and then George Clooney, come on now. He was a great Bruce Wayne, terrible Batman. He was just the same as Ben Affleck. He is a great Bruce Wayne because he can play a billionaire douchebag, but he wasn't the great Batman. I didn't like him as Batman, didn't care for him as Batman, you know? The only one I've liked so far recently, other than I did like Christian Bale's, but I really like Zac Efron. Is that right?
Zac Efron,
That was a Zac Efron. What was the fuck guy's name?
Robert Patterson.
Robert Patterson. God damn it, I'm getting those fuckers mixed up. Twilight and
They're so identical. And
no, they're
yeah,
not. Not at all.
Twilight and High School
High
Musical.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
they're
thing. Like
they're right there with each other. Yeah.
they're completely different movies, but I don't know. Just
I
getting
don't
for
know.
some reason.
What we're talking about is for a whole other video. So the whole superhero thing.
Yeah, nobody watches this all the way to the end anyway. Um,
Uh
I'm surprised. Nobody said anything. Nobody's because we've gone on tangents at the end of all our shit, and nobody's ever commented, yeah, I totally agree about that. Nobody's commented shit. So I don't think anybody's watching, period. But we have 100 subscribers on this channel, so thank you. Love you all.
there
Just
you go. Like,
you're not all gonna see this anyway, so awesome. But I appreciate you all. Um, but yeah,
I do too.
that's it. That's it for this discussion. Discussion on this bland movie, and then we went into shit we didn't like about the superhero world, which is a lot for you, not as much for me, but there's some stuff I'm not happy with. But you hate the superhero genre now,
Once Disney took over, I hate all that stuff. Yeah.
Star Wars,
If it's George
superheroes.
Lucas, love it. If it's Kathleen Kennedy, hate it.
Really? You love it? Even the prequels?
When I mentioned this on the superhero one with that you were on with Donald and I with a film discussion is you can only compare something to what came before it.
Right.
So, and I'll make this quick so we can leave, is you have nothing to compare the original Star Wars to, but you can compare Empire to Star Wars. You can compare Jedi to Empire and
Empire
Star
and
Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
And then when you come out with the prequels, you can only compare those to the originals. And
Right.
those were bad. But now that you have the Disney sequels, you compare the Disney sequels to the prequels, and the prequels are like freaking Gone with the Wind. They're like Citizen Kane compared to those movies. There's actual beginnings, middle, and end. There's structure. There's plot points. There's none of that stuff in character development. None
Uh-huh.
of that stuff is in the Disney stuff. So yeah, I would say that the prequels are 1,000 times better, and I'd much rather watch whiny Anakin than anything in the prequels,
Whiny
or
everybody in the
anything
prequels.
whiny, than the Disney sequels.
Yeah, no, our Disney sequels, whiny everybody in the Disney sequels because I fucking hated every single character. There's just,
Ray,
you know,
Ray, Ray,
but then it goes back to
Ray.
this movie. Is Elizabeth there? Is Elizabeth? Did you find Elizabeth? Is she there?
Michelle. It's
Michelle.
Michelle. If you're going to
I didn't say
criticize
Elizabeth.
the film, get the name right.
The name right. Michelle. I'm sorry. I don't even know where Elizabeth came from, but whatever. Uh, but yeah, Michelle. Is Michelle there? Is Michelle? Is Michelle
What
around?
happened
What's
to
going on with
Michelle? Did you
Michelle?
find Michelle? Where's Michelle? It could
Uh,
be a drinking game. Every time he says Michelle, you take a drink.
no, I don't
Well,
promote
well,
taking games.
no, but you could if you're somebody
If
who
somebody
liked drinking
wanted to
games.
go and do that and get drunk very quickly, watch that movie and listen for how many times they said, "Is
You'd
Michelle
probably be
there?"
passed out by the time they got to the
Oh,
end.
that's what I'm
I mean,
saying. Like it, and you know what? That might be the better way to watch this movie. So
ah,
go ahead and do it. Go ahead. You got my blessing. Because if I could drink still, which I can't, and I never will, uh, anymore. But if I could, that's what I would have done because this movie would drive myself to drink. Yeah, you know, um,
All right.
that's my quote. You can put that on the poster. I don't think they will, but
Put that in your pipe and
I don't
smoke
know
it.
what would my quote be, misquote be like, you know, um, I don't even know what like they could say on the poster for my thing because I it was nothing but negative shit. I didn't even say this was sick, twisted fun, or whatever.
If you have insomnia, just watch this movie, Jonathan Moody.
If you want to get really plastered, play a drinking game where everybody says where the main guy says Michelle all the time. Jonathan Moody.
That's a lot to go through. You have to
Yeah, you have to
take
read a
out
lot.
some of that verbiage out of there.
I
People would
don't,
fall asleep by the end they got to it.
I don't know.
If you
I'm
want a
just
drinking game, that
that's the way they yeah, the way I get them to not watch the movies. They fall asleep instead of watching them. Well, you know what? If you want to fall asleep, watch this movie. Yeah, agree with your insomnia thing. You have insomnia, watch this movie. It'll put you right to fucking sleep,
there you
you
go.
know?
There you go.
So there you go, everybody. That's our
But I
review. That's
disagree.
our
So okay.
mid-season review. Ah,
Yay! We'll be back in 10 months.
10 months.
No,
I think we have three. Could be
three
wrong.
months.
3 months, something like
Is
that.
it 3 months?
But we're not gonna be gone for 3 months because we got other shit to do. I guess we're gonna do other stuff.
Yeah,
And John's already like, oh God, no, I forgot.
I got shit to go make. I got movies to
uh,
make.
yeah, go make your fucking movies, man.
Ugh.
Turn me down. Say I can't do your shit anymore, Jonathan. I got movies to make. You know.
Pretty much, yeah. Whatever we have planned, I could do, but anything beyond that, I probably can't do at least until next month. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So there you go. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, and see us. We'll be back, and probably we'll also be doing a Italian horror show, but I'm not sure when that'll come out. So don't be too excited.
That or Saw
Well, we're gonna
for
do
this.
Saw. We're gonna
Saw
do
for
Saw.
this,
We'll
right?
be back for Saw, but that's not gonna be
The
till like September, I guess, or so when we come
the
back.
Italian thing's a whole different
Yeah, it's a
thing.
whole different show on Horror Film
Yeah,
Lovers.
yeah.
So get ready for that one. But anyway, aside from that, we'll be back with Saul and Paranormal Activity, and I think we're also gonna do a mid season thing where we're gonna watch we're gonna review the new Insidious movie when
And
that comes
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So we'll be back with that, but we'll also be back with some more other stuff. So I'm really excited. James Wanathon continues in a few months. Until then, everybody, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.